Lauren. You guys, I'm excited. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. You are not a sheep. What in the world do I mean by that? I mean, you don't have to follow what everyone else is doing with their teenagers. In my neighborhood, everybody has their 5 or 6-year-old in 4 sports. Not really, I'm exaggerating, but in a lot of different activities all the time, very scheduled. And my husband and I have looked at each other and said, I don't think this makes sense for our kid. It makes her really tired and cranky, and she likes time to read and play and just be a kid. Well, how that applies to your teenager is just because everybody's saying, let's go to the best college, or I see everybody on Instagram doing this or that, or I need to take 25 AP classes by the time I graduate, or I won't be accepted to any schools, doesn't mean that that's the right path for you. So sometimes the best thing we can do is not just follow along. Instead, we need to stop with our teenagers and we need to really, really dream. We need to sit down with them and say, what would a good life look like for you? Do you want a lot of time with your family? Are you going to travel all the time? What do you want? Do you want to be really spiritually involved in your community? And then start looking at things that help them get exposure to those interests, because they're probably not going to be a professional athlete. I realize there's some of you that your kid actually might be, but for the rest of us, for the majority of us normal people like me, 5'6", there's no chance. I think you got to help your kid dream a little bit differently than that. So dream and then help them line themselves up with those kind of activities. It's one of the better things you can do to help your kid stay realistic and make really, really good choices. When it comes to college, they may end up doing what one girl I worked with did and say, you know what, this obscure Cal State is actually the best school for what I want to do. I want to be a teacher and I want to teach in the Central Coast. And the only way I'm going to do that is to go to Cal State Channel Islands. So she went ahead and went to Cal State Channel Islands, even though that was nowhere on her school list. In fact, she had never even heard of it until she started thinking a little bit differently. So help your kids really think through what makes the most sense and don't just follow because you're not a sheep.